What is the TV doing?
Watching TV. Okay, I'm getting a good view of your back, Mr. Trump.
Oh, you guys feel that white? John, this is that white patchy molest.
Don't do it.
No.
Move it.
No. Oh, I had a perfect zoom on it, man.
All right, guys. As you can see, this is a slightly unusual experience today. We're going to videotape ourselves. Yes.
Why don't we get to watch it then?
Maybe. What do you think?
I mean, no.
Well, we do have some things to do. Let me explain what I'm doing, okay? I will share this with you. All right. Mr. Squarsha wants every teacher to tape themselves during one class, sometime between now and like the end of January. So it was my great idea that I would tape myself for an entire day. And then I could see like how I'm doing first period, if I get in a bad mood by fourth period, or if I like hate like my last period of class, or what I'm doing. So the idea is like to watch myself and see how I change during the day. What, Kev? Me?
America's Funniest Home Video.
Yeah, I'm sending it in.
School video.
No.
Oh my God, the wave.
The wave? You want to do it?
Yeah.
Can I do the wave?
Wave.
I don't watch it.
Well, see, the whole thing is supposed to watch ourselves and, guys, don't do this to me today. We're supposed to watch ourselves and be critical of ourselves. So I'm supposed to like look at it and go, need to lose some weight in that butt there. That's the objective. What?
I was just going to tell her why.
Okay.
All right.
So Joe is our cameraman because he asked me. I don't think I asked. All right, here's the deal.
Wave.
All right, do a wave and get it out of your system. All right,
All right, wait.
Start.
All right, go ahead, start.
Jake, start.
In our school or our class?
Tails. Ow. Keep going. All right.
Is that eye level? Can you see my face?
Yeah. It's zoomed out.
Okay. Now, here's what we're doing. So we do have like regular old things to do today. Okay, because remember we have a quiz tomorrow. Yeah. But first, I have an announcement about the Model UN. Okay. Have some bad news and some. There's a possibility that the 15 pages can't go.
Oh, I feel so bad about it.
Is anybody really upset?
Yeah, because I
See,
did mine.
let me explain what happened.
Can I stay home from school?
I'll explain what happened, okay? The lady who's in charge of it at the college, who of course is a senior, therefore is perfect, told me at first that we could bring like as many pages as wanted because she needed pages. I said, great, well I have 15 kids that would just love your pages. Then I called her back and she said, 15? I meant like 2 or 3. So I'm kind of upset with this woman, and we're trying to work this out so that you guys can go. She's gonna call me back. She hasn't called me back yet, which indicates to me that she's blowing me off. So I'm gonna call her again and say, better have these kids there. So I'm gonna do my very best, but I just want to let you know now that you may not be able to go, so that you won't be upset. Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay.
I'll make it up to you. I'll bring you candy cane. Now, the other thing about Model UN is, from the delegates, I need $6 each from each of you for lunch by next week.
6?
Our school
School's paying for this.
I want you to know that I had the lunch there, and it is a lovely boxed hoagie meal. You get like your hoagie, you stand in line, you get some nice orange drink, and I don't feel it's worth the $6.
Okay, well, let me explain. The lunch is it's for 2 days, so it's like $3 a day times 2 is $6.
I think I'm packing lunch.
And you may pack your lunch, but you can't eat it in the school cafeteria if you pack it. So
You have to sit on the bus.
I don't make the rules.
Okay.
So you can pack your lunch. You can pack your lunch, but you can't eat it. You can just like eat it outside, or eat it in another room, or eat it like in the student union building or something. But you can't eat it in the cafeteria.
Because everybody else is going, oh, I should pack my lunch.
So what I need, you guys. What I need from those of you who are paying the $6 is by next Wednesday a check, preferably a check for $6. Just make the payment to the high school, and then I'll work it out. Or cash if you want. Do it cash.
That's all I have is cash.
Okay.
Wait, I gotta zoom in on your face. Right there.
Okay. This is gonna be a really successful video experience, I can just tell. All right. Here we go. What I want to do is cover the whole Roman expansion section in one day. Section 2. In one day. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Now, what I want you to do is...
You're not going to teach us the Roman education.
Did anybody read it?
Let's go look at the class.
No, over here.
It's right on you. Go ahead. Kevin, I'm zooming on you.
No.
Are we taking that quiz tomorrow?
Cat man.
You guys, you pay attention.
Albert.
No. The quiz is on...
Amel man. Right on you.
The quiz is on sections 1 and 2 of your textbook. Okay? Also on notes and what we do in class. Okay? What I want you to do today, has anybody read section 2, to be honest?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
What
What I want you to do is this. I'm going to go through it very quickly. There's not a whole lot of information. It's Roman expansions, like where they went, why they went there, and who they killed, okay? But I want you to think of questions, certain answers while we're going over, and then as you're taking notes, you can sort of write down the answers to your questions. Is that okay?
James, you gonna see this video?
John Elway.
James, Joe. Hey, James. Hi, James.
Bachelor party, baby, your house.
I'm writing questions on the board.
I gotta get this crap.
No, her face.
There you go. It's crooked though. You look awesome.
Because he's the AV master.
He's an 8. AV boy.
Okay. Question 1.
Can I take this thing off here?
What's the strategy
What thing?
wise?
This camera.
No. I promise Mr. Forrest can do that.
Okay. Joel, man. I'm zooming on you.
No, it's somebody else.
Joe,
I can't get her. She's too close. There you go.
It's huge and you can't go right.
There you go. Now I got you.
Big.
Oh, crap. What? I got her easy.
This is a really exciting part of the video.
Let's get on.
Scan the class.
Where's Nick? Nick. Nick, put your head up. Tails got away.
Joe.
I'm gonna watch this guy.
Joe Fudge. Holy sugar. Fire. Thirsty.
I got you.
This is a new teaching strategy.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Okay, guys.
What are these questions for?
These
All
are
right.
questions that you are to put in your
What I just
notebook.
got?
That you are to put in your notebook that you will have like for the rest of the period and then tomorrow we go over this still. Okay? That you're going to be answering these as we go along. That's the idea. These are like abstract, pseudo-abstract level questions that I want you to be sure you can answer. So that what we're actually doing is we're reviewing your information, your knowledge as we go over it. Does that make sense?
What's Hannibal's last name?
Smith.
You know what?
No, it wasn't on the 18th.
Huh? Hold on, let me- Okay. Roman unification. Here we go.
Here's my question.
Okay. The Romans began expanding after about 300 BC. Okay. Before they could do that, they had to unify what they had first on Italy. So in the 200 years before that, 500 to 300 BC, the Romans began enveloping all the people that lived on Italy into their empire. Okay. This is just real simple stuff. Basically, what they did was they just either conquered them if they didn't want to become part of Roman, or if they did, they would just absorb them and make them equal to them. Okay. The Romans treated their people rather well, and I'm so nervous. This is ridiculous.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know. Okay. The Romans treated their
Nice little
people.
pirouette there. I'll say she never took that way.
I know school. All right. After bringing all of Italy under control, okay, the Romans were pretty fair in their treatment of the Italians. They allowed them certain rights. They even let them become citizens if they wanted to leave. And they treated them fairly when they were part of the empire. Okay. Then they moved by 265. And what I mean was they eventually swallowed up all the Etruscan settlements and the Greek city-states. They incorporated all of that into the Roman Empire. Okay. By 265, they ruled all of Italy. Really basic stuff. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because it's not that imperative. Okay. A couple things about the Roman army. What was the major force in terms of people that served in the army? Like what class were they? Yeah, they were plebeian. Okay, which meant that were they loyal or disloyal in general
To who?
to the cause of the army? Joel.
Well, they're loyal to the army because they made up most of it.
Okay. How did they feel about the Roman government as a whole?
They really didn't like how the patricians treated them.
Right. They didn't care much for the patricians, but they were a unified force in the army by itself. Okay. The army really plays a major role in the Romans. There's a couple of things you need to know about it, Nick, or I'm sorry, Kevin.
Nick.
Those things are really easy.
The Roman army in this day and age was entirely volunteer. This is really important because you think of an army today as them being paid. Okay, they're being paid for their service, they're being paid for their time, and they use that money for college education or whatever. But in the Roman time, they weren't paid for this. They just were expected to serve as part of their duty of being a Roman citizen. So they were not paid for their service, yet they were loyal to it.
No, not really. Isn't it at all?
Okay. The word legion refers to a unit of 6,000 men. Okay. And the men that served were called legionnaires. Legionnaires. What, Joel?
You know that if you become a French foreign legion, you give up U.S. citizenship.
If you become what?
A French foreign legion, give up U.S. citizenship.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Because they want to become part of the French Army. I don't know, what's the point?
I don't know, I just thought it was, we're talking legions here.
Let's talk legions. For the French, it's like a secret service sort of for the French. What, Iggy? Yes. 149. Okay. The legions of 6,000 men were then divided up into smaller units of like 60 to 120. So it wasn't as if you had this big unit of 6,000 men marching around together. That would be kind of clunky and wouldn't be very productive. And they had that subdivided into units of 60 or 120 guys that would just be stationed throughout the Roman Empire to do various things. That's a lot of soldiers. They had several legions, so there were a lot of people stationed throughout. Okay. One of the things, most important things that the army did was it established outposts around the Italian peninsula that would serve as like a small fort or a small colony, and they called it a colonnade. They were basically small fort towns scattered throughout Italy that would serve as a supply center, an outpost, etc. for the army to stop and rest and use it for supplies. Okay.
How far advanced in like weaponry were they at this time?
They're still into bronze, iron, metal weapons, chariots, foot soldiers basically is what they were. Spears, and they had a little bit of armor, but not the armor that you associate with like the Middle Ages, not that kind of armor, but
They're just big chest plates.
big chest plates and shields.
And they wore little skirts.
They wore little skirts and had boots with laces up the caps. Okay.
What movie is that in? Is that in Ben-Hur? Where they have the big old chariot race?
Every movie.
What's that super chariot race?
Ben-Hur.
Yeah,
Okay.
I watched some of it.
These colonnae are extremely important because what do you think they're going to serve as? This is sort of leading into question number 2 up there. How would the Roman army play a role in helping Rome later? Somebody different than India.
Well, answer a question, Shipper.
All right, here you've got this big boot. Should I draw the boot again? Here.
No, don't draw the boot.
No, I don't want to see the boot on camera.
Okay.
Where's the heel?
Okay, you've got this big boot, all right? And here's Rome. And now Rome has expanded to everything. Remember Greeks used to live down here, Tuscans used to live up here. Now they have like the whole thing. Remember these mountains? Those mountains, okay. Now they might have a colonnade like up here, up here, up here, up here, up here. Expanding to all these different cultural, here's a hint, multicultural land and bringing in all these people with different cultures. So what do you think that the role would be then of the Army in the long run? Okay, after so many years of having the Army serving in all these outposts, what would they eventually be helping to do in terms of bettering the Roman Empire? Unifying, okay. That's good. What's my favorite word? Cultural diffusion. Very good.
Cultural regression.
Why is it regression? Cultural diffusion. Okay, when you have Roman soldiers setting up camps all over the empire, eventually you're gonna have a system of roads connecting all those different ports, and then you're gonna have cultures mixing along those different ports, and you have people trading. And these are gonna become trade routes, and then roads, travel routes. People are gonna be mixing cultures, cultural diffusion. Really important in terms of what happens on Italy. Okay. Carthage. In your book, which I'm sure everybody has, there's this map. Good. On page 86, there's a map that shows you Carthage in relation to Italy. Okay. Another rough drawing. Here's Sicily and here's Carthage, the X. You can see how close Carthage is to the mainland.
I just had
It is the main land.
What established Carthage? Where did Carthage come from? Age. Hmm? Nope.
No, you're wrong. No. The Phoenicians.
The Phoenicians. Remember the Phoenicians?
The most tyrant.
Sidon.
Yeah, that one's
Right.
him.
Remember when the Phoenicians had their empire, they established a colony at Carthage? Well, Carthage is still there, okay? And although the Phoenicians died, Carthage is still around
They were
now.
around for a long time. Weren't they around for like 3,000 to 100?
Yeah. What I want you to do for 5 quickie minutes is get in groups of 2. Just like an example, top of my head. Get in groups of 2 with a person right beside you, okay? And
Go for it.
How about behind?
hmm?
You can put on a talent show.
No. And what I want is there are 3 wars that Rome and Carthage will fight together. Okay, they're called the 3 Punic Wars. P-U-N-I-C. What I want you to do is to read one of those quickly. Each is like a paragraph. All right. I want this side of the room, these 2 rows to read the first Punic War. These 2 rows to read the second Punic War. These 2 rows to read the third Punic War. And then we're going to share our information together. Okay? Take note analyzing these questions. All right? Get going. Hurry up. Chris, you've already done.
Yeah, I got the assignment part. I just missed like the last. Get out of here. Get out of here, Rob.
Come on, what the ow! What the heck's the matter with you? Clock the cameraman, bro. Clock the cameraman.
All right. Here's Mike actively reading.
All right. I'll zoom on wheels, man. Wheels, say something. Right, move. to your right. We'll say something. Kevin, fight with wheels. Schiffer, I got you.
While we were
Go, Schiffer. Play with Nick. Oh, she keeps turning her back to me. I can't tape her like that.
So that you understand it and then you tell your class about it.
I got you. Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Everybody okay over here?
Where's Nick?
It only takes you feel confident and explain to the class about the third cohort.
Shouldn't I have this thing in the back?
What?
Shouldn't I have this thing in the back?
It won't work back there because then that'll get the back of everyone's head.
Oh. It's too bad.
I'm gonna sit back and chill out with some popcorn and watch this.
Are you gonna call in somebody?
Wait, are we allowed to watch this?
What?
Are we gonna watch this?
I don't know. Depends how embarrassed I am.
Joe,
Okay.
take it up from the team. Give it.
What? So it turns?
That one, no, the one above it, right there.
No, that
tighten
takes
this
it
up.
off.
I know.
That takes it
If you
off.
tighten that up, this will, and then you loosen this up, and then this whole thing will turn.
Alright. Go ahead.
Don't drop it, whatever you do.
No, don't.
Okay.
Okay, are you done?
I'm finished, I'm not done. Turkeys get done, I'm not finished.
First of all, those who read the first Punic War, you guys on the right, why were they fighting Roman Carthage?
Wait, who should I get on?
Sicily was wanted.
Each person speak 2 minutes.
Why were they fighting about Sicily?
I thought they would close down the Strait of Messina.
The Romans did.
The Romans thought that Carthage would close it down.
What is the Carthaginian statement?
Go Tails.
They didn't want Rome to take the island.
Okay, so the Carthaginians who occupied part of Sicily wanted to keep it, and the Romans feared that they would take it over for their own. Okay, what happened then eventually? What happened during the course of the war?
They fought.
Why?
Who are you gonna call on next?
All right. Who won?
Romans.
Nick. And what was the
I can't
outcome?
get Nick.
Had to pay an indemnity.
Tails duck. Guys duck. Everybody in that row duck except for Nick.
Wave them.
Indemnity. You guys can't even hear Nick.
Shit for duck.
Indemnity.
Alright, there we go.
I said that.
I got Nick. Duck!
I'm ducking.
Okay, what else?
There you go.
Permanently crippled Carthage's naval.
Oh, right now, wait. Duck again, duck. Everybody here, duck except for Nick. Alright, I got you, Nick.
All right, Nick. What happened with Sicily?
Keep going, Nick. You're on a roll. Don't be scared, Nick. 30 million people are going to watch you now, Nick.
Rome took over Sicily. Okay.
Nick, you're such a cutie pie. Alright, we're done.
Okay, is there anything else important about the First Punic War?
Call on Kim. I got a perfect shot of her.
Rome got a good
Is
name.
that it, Kim? Is that all the important information?
Oh, wait, can I do something?
Oh, come on, Kim, say something. It's right on you.
That they, because the Romans had a better army and the Carthaginians or whatever had a better navy, that they used their good fighting skills and like would use grappling irons and board the boats to cut the enemy.
Good. The grappling iron technique. Okay.
They do it.
The Romans had better army and felt self-conscious about the Carthaginians having their navy, so the Romans then established a better navy. And they used grappling irons to hook up their boat to another boat and then just walk up over on a bridge, and then attack them on ships by hand. They would jump. All right, Second Punic War.
Why would they just go to that?
Well, I guess the idea was it happened quickly enough. They would just grapple and then run. Okay. Grapple and run. Okay. Okay, Second Punic War, guys. What happened? What were they fighting about?
Carthage recovered from
Where's she? Oh, right there.
and decided to go attack Rome. 50 elephants and 40,000 men.
They went over the Alps, and all the elephants died.
Okay, is everyone listening? Carthage recovered from its previous defeat and renewed itself, and then wanted to attack Rome again, wanted to avenge the damage done by Rome. Okay, and what was the big, the famous climb and fight that took place during this? Kevin?
Well, they had to get over the Alps, so they got all these elephants.
Okay.
And then they got over the Alps, but all the elephants died.
And who's the guy that led this?
What?
Who's
Hannibal.
Hannibal.
He's the son of some guy.
Don't worry about who's the son of.
Alright.
Okay. So Hannibal led an army of 40,000 men and 50 elephants,
Yeah.
and all the elephants, and they climbed over the Alps. I think there's
All
10
the elephants are indigenous to
Yeah, all the
the
elephants
tropical
died.
regions, so they don't tend to smell.
Right. The elephants were not happy in the snow. So, very good
That's a
work.
tough word.
Okay. So the elephants all died, and half the army died. Now, important strategy, those of you who are into like strategy in G.I. Joe.
Art.
What describe what took place after Hannibal got into Rome. The Roman Republic. Amy.
The Romans attacked Carthage, then Hannibal had to go back and defend Carthage.
But not, that comes later, what happened first?
Then Carthage fell.
Okay, first he started attacking. Now what was the famous battle that he attacked at and won? Cannae.
I think doesn't focus very well.
Okay. What was the outcome
It does it
of the
automatically.
battle at Cannae?
It just takes forever.
Who won? Hannibal. Okay, and then what was his next move? What was his next move after winning at Cannae? Did he go on to Rome?
Are you getting sound on this?
No.
Why
No.
not? Kim?
Yeah.
He wanted to negotiate and settle.
Okay. Why do you think he would not go into Rome? Because he knew he'd get blown away. Okay. He knew he'd come this far. He lost half his army and all his elephants. He was kind of bummed. But he won this battle at Cannae. And here he is like, okay, Cannae is right about here. So here he is in the middle of Italy with half his men, and they're all tired and cranky. And although he won this battle and the Romans are crying, he does not march into Rome and take it because
His head kicked in.
he fears that he'll get his head kicked in. So he's a little bit wise here, okay? That's an important strategic move on his part. And then meanwhile, what happens? Not you guys. You guys. Mike? Brian? Go ahead, Mike.
Gets called to defend the city because the Romans were attacked.
Okay, he got called back to
It's all you,
Carthage
Rick.
because the Romans, meanwhile, under what's done Publius Scipio. The Romans under Scipio attacked Carthage, and then Hannibal was called back to fight Carthage. So once back in Carthage, what happened? Read it a bit. Zama. Okay.
Mumbo jumbo.
You should be able to point to me where Zama and Kane are. Okay. So what was the outcome of the second Punic War?
Then
Brian?
check that plane, they're rolling like a mother. She.
They lost Carthage? And then what?
Check it,
Okay.
the bill wasn't
They
home.
lost Spain. Good. Okay. Carthage, part of the Carthaginian Empire was Spain, which is how Hannibal was able to just march right up over the Alps, because they occupied that territory. So now they lost Spain. So now, in the first war they've lost Sicily, now they've lost Spain, and they're also forced to pay another indemnity. Okay. What happens in the third?
The Romans do an amphibious assault on Carthage.
Taking the beaches, storming the beaches first.
What prompts the third Punic War?
They just wanted to kick Carthage. Carthage.
Important question goes with number 5 over there. Why did Rome want to kick Carthage's butt?
Because it's been giving them trouble since back in 200 BC, and they just said, we're tired of this, we're just going to end it once and for all.
Okay.
Every time they won, they
All right.
win.
On that note, I want to stop.
You don't know if they want to assault the land.
So we're going to come back tomorrow, pick up the end of the third Punic War, okay? I want everyone to have read section 2. Your quiz will be tomorrow. Don't think it won't be. It won't be very long. Take it like 15 minutes again. Okay, so easy. Section
All right, I think we
1.
better end with a wave.
Okay.
Nick, start the wave.
Joe, we're not done. All right. So make sure that you read those 2 sections and have these 5 questions ready for discussion.
We gotta end with a wave.
Got it?
All right, end with a wave. Nick. Can't put both hands up next time.
Yes.
Good job.
All right, guys. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay.
Where is it?
Let me explain to you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Okay. Mrs. Forscher recommended that every teacher, and I'm sure you'll be seeing this happen in other classes, that we tape ourselves in at least one class sometime between the end of January. So I decided that what I want to do is tape an entire day. So then I can watch it and see like how I change and what happens to me during the day. If I start out in a good mood and then get in a bad mood by 4th period, or like what happens in every single class. So that's my objective, is to just have everyone act like they would normally act within reason. Okay, remember that you are on tape, so I can use it against you. But I wouldn't do that. So, can you close the door, please, Chad?
Oh, yeah, I was thinking Mr. Nancy, Mr. David. See, there they are. Yeah, but I told her.
Can we get a drink?
Where were you, Mark?
In gym class.
Why did you get one on me now?
It's Mr. Eaton.
Go ahead, quick.
Oh,
Mr.
everyone sit down.
East.
Hey,
You're always Mr. Drinking today.
yeah, Mr. Eaton.
What's Steve doing?
Okay, so that's why we're doing this. So what we're going to do is just have a regular old lesson and do some other interesting things. And then that'll be, of course, the period. Okay? Now, your quiz is still tomorrow.
On what?
Sections 1 and 2, just like I told you on Monday.
You can tell us.
Sections 1 and 2, okay? And you must be prepared for that. You must also turn in your vocabulary tomorrow. Sections 1 and 2, okay? And that should take care of us for this week. The next week we'll start sections 3 and 4 of Rome. And after Christmas we'll finish 5 and 6 and then whiz through everything else so we can catch up to where we really should be. Okay? Any questions on anything we've done already before we get into the wars and things? Okay, quick erase this.
Miss John Howell.
Yes,
Why do
sir.
you have that set up
Steve,
there,
do you
not in the
have
back of
to
the
do
room,
that?
so therefore you can see what you're writing?
That's not the objective. The objective. I want to see the front of your face on the back of your head. Okay. So we can take this home
Please
tonight
have
and
it on
watch
you,
it.
so in case you want if I hit John and he hits me.
All right, guys.
Hit me, dead.
Okay.
Don't run.
Has everybody read section 2?
That's a strong color.
Okay. We're getting into Roman expansion, okay, and it will not take us the whole period to do this. Because although it's a whole section, we're doing a whole section in one day, it's generally simple stuff that I want to make into something concise rather than say, exactly what happened at every single point of all these battles, because it's not all that important. Okay, what's important is the strategies and the whys and the hows and the analysis and everything. All right, what I want you to do is copy down these 5 questions. Okay? These are for you. I will not scrutinize your answers to these, but the objective here is these are some thinking questions that I want you to be able to answer by the end of going over this section. And if you can answer these questions, then you're ready for the quiz. Okay?
So you're not grading
What are you taping there, buddy?
No, I'm not grading these, but they're just guiding. They're guiding questions. Okay. Mark said. Okay. So break out your notes and start copying down those.
Why are you doing that?
Okay. All right. Are you ready? Yeah? No. This number? Wise. Was the Roman strategy of unifying Italy wise? How would the Roman army play a role in helping Rome later? What is the purpose of Rhodes? Describe/analyze Hannibal's strategy. And why did Rome attack Carthage in 149 BC? And like I said, if you can answer these questions when we're done with the section, you will be ready for the quiz. Okay. Okay. What's happening during this period of Roman expansion is pretty obvious. Rome is going to grow, okay, from a little city-state into occupying all of Italy and then everything else. All right?
How much space would you need between these questions?
As much as it takes for you to write a couple lines. All right. So this is the period where Rome goes from being a little city-state to occupying pretty much of all of the known world at that time. Okay. When we're done with this section, we will see Rome occupying everything from almost Britain to into Asia Minor and into where the Persian Empire used to be. Okay. So Rome will occupy all of that area. But first, what's the first thing that Rome has to do? If Rome's gonna occupy the world, what's the first thing it has to do in going from being the Sultan? Expand how? Well, it's got to do that, but then it has to do what?
Conquer the communities that were around there.
Good. It's gotta conquer the big boot. It's gotta conquer Italy. Okay? If it's gonna conquer Europe and Greece, it's gotta conquer Italy first. What, Mark?
That roads there, is that something other than roads like streets or?
No, roads as in streets.
Oh,
A little bit. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is conquer Italy.
Now is this notes?
Okay.
That's what kind of stuff we can paper?
Right. Just notes. Okay. Girls, you think you can provide this period? Thanks. First thing Rome has to do is conquer all of Italy, get that under its belt, so that it can later expand into the world. Between 500 and 300 BC, Rome begins taking all of Italy and making it into its own empire. Okay? Remember that before we used to have the Etruscans living up here and down here. We had some Greeks living down the south. Okay? Now, the Romans then have to bring all of these people under their control. Okay? They do that one of two ways. If they're friendly and they accept Rome, then fine. You just become part of Rome, and that's it. And you're allowed to be a citizen. You're given certain rights. If they're unfriendly, then obviously they're going to have to do what then? Kill them, conquer them, enslave them, whatever. Okay. So it's obvious they're going to do one or two things. They're going to either take it over, or they're just going to kill them in order to do it. Okay. Two methods of unification. By 265, the Romans ruled all of Italy. So it took them about 200 years to do this, to get everybody under their belt, safe and sound, so that they would not have to worry about any uprisings within. Okay? But eventually they did that. They now control all of Italy. It will take them less time to get the rest of the world than it did to get that. Right? Yeah. As Susanna pointed out, if you're going to conquer the world, you better have a strong, loyal army. Okay? Which class, what?
Does it still go under Italy? Do you just...
Well, this is just a side note in general. Okay. What class of people generally serve in the army? Poor people? The poor people, which are called plebeians. Good. Okay. Remember that the army is almost 90% plebeian, right? So they are going to want more of a say in what happens. They're going to want to be happy, okay? They are, because in the army, it's the one place where a poor person can be on his own. Do his own thing, go his own way, okay? Something unusual about the Roman army. Girls, if you can't be quiet, and I'd appreciate it if, like, you would separate, or perhaps stay after school next week. Okay? The Romans had a volunteer army. Which is something that we would not understand. Okay? Where would George Bush get several million ambitious young men and women and not pay them and have them be in the army? I think he might have a hard time. But the Romans did it. It was considered a duty of being a citizen. It's just something you did. You were a man, and therefore you fought in the army, and then you went on and you did something else if you didn't die. Okay?
Wait, I don't understand something.
What?
All these people were volunteers because they were citizens. Well, why didn't they say, well, if we're citizens and we have to volunteer and go in the army, why don't we get the rights that like everyone else has?
I was sure saying.
Like they didn't have all the rights that the patricians had, right?
Right.
So why did they still feel loyal that they should do all this? And why didn't they say, well, if we're going to be in the army, we want this and this and this?
Okay. Well, remember, after all the reforms took place. Okay, I have one. After all the reforms took place, the plebes got more rights, and they felt as if they had better equality than they did before. And also, the army sort of gave them a place, like, they could all get together and play, like a big frat house. They gave them a place where they could all get together and enjoy themselves, and they weren't really around the upper class as much, because they were just with their buddies. Of course, they were fighting in war, but aside from that, they were enjoying themselves. Okay? So the army was largely volunteer. It would be paid later. When we get to the first century, we'll see them being paid. They're also very loyal. These guys like being in the army. Okay, it's sort of a prestigious position. Like look at the army coming down the street. Like really excited people to see them. Okay, the army was divided into units called legions, and a legion was 6,000 men. Okay. So, Chad, if you were the general in charge of these legions, okay, like you were in charge of all the Roman legions, say there were like 20 legions of 6,000 guys, what would be your strategy? Like where would you put them, or how would you put them? Would you put them by like 6,000 one big group here, 6,000 one big group here?
Separate them, yeah. That would be logical.
But I mean, would you put like a whole legion in one place, a whole legion in another place? Or would that
Split up the legion.
No, they split the
Little
legion.
pieces.
Okay,
Yeah.
why
Assign
would
one legion for a certain part of an area, and split up that area.
Why would
Legion
you
here
split
and
'em up?
it up.
Why would you split them up?
More power.
Because it's a proven fact that Hannibal slaughtered 60,000 of these guys because they had them in one big group. So there you go.
Okay. So you think it would be more wise to separate them, separate the legion into smaller groups? Okay. That's what they generally did. They separate the legion into smaller groups, like 60 to 120 guys. Okay. Now, expanding on our vocabulary a little bit, a Roman soldier in the legion was called a legionnaire. Okay. Roman soldier was called a legionnaire. Little vocabulary. Now, getting into the second question, how did the army play a role in helping Rome later? Okay, the army did a heck of a lot of good things. All these little dots I put up here, okay, these are all outposts of all the legions. Now, that might not be where they exactly were, but I'm probably pretty close. Okay, they scattered themselves around Rome, put themselves in different areas. What they did was they established outposts or little forts, like small towns that would be supply areas and military headquarters. Okay, they called those colony. Okay. It's like a colony, but it's just a little town within it that they called a colony. And what do you think colony eventually became? Right. They eventually became cities, towns, trading centers. Okay, and then they would eventually be connected by what? Roads. So you would eventually have roads coming through here, going up over the mountains, etc. Okay. So you can see very easily how the Roman army, in building all of this stuff during peacetime, contributed to bringing all of Italy together by building roads. Okay? Because the better you know your country, then the better you are able to protect it and defend it. So that was the Roman idea. And they knew it like the back of their hand. Okay.
What's the star mean? Is that a capital on the map?
Oh, I'll talk about that in a sec. That's a good question. All right, what I want you to do is, there's a section on the 3 Punic Wars, okay, in section 2. Rome started fighting with a colony called Carthage. Remember Carthage? Who established Carthage? The Phoenicians, okay. The Phoenicians established Carthage, and then their empire declined, but Carthage is still around, all right. Carthage would be right about, okay, here's the boot, here's Sicily, here's Africa. Carthage is this little X. Right? If you look on page, I think, 86 in your book. Here's a map.
Why don't you
said we were watching a movie today.
Who said this?
Jason, or you? You and
Mark, you always have your book.
What are you saying?
Chad.
do something
Chad,
about
did they say we were
They
watching a
said
movie?
we were watching a movie.
Page 86. A movie.
Yeah, movie.
No, they said we were
Okay.
making a movie.
I hope you're checking that out.
There's a map here.
We are.
It shows
We're
24
latching off already.
where Carthage is and Sicily. Okay. Now, under the Punic Wars, there are 3 of them. Okay, 3 Punic Wars. They're each like maybe a paragraph max in the book. Here's what I want you to do. So if we can just go over this very quickly, and you'll have read the information in more detail, and I can go through it in less detail. I want these 2 rows right here to read the first Punic War.
Together.
No, by yourselves. And then talk about it together if you need to as like 2 people, like Mark and Jason, you work together, you 2 girls, all the way back. So that you understand what happened during the first report. So I could call on any of you and you'll be able to tell me. Okay? You guys do the second Punic War. You guys do the third same thing.
Oh, here they are.
Okay?
Third
They're all labeled in sections. I will give you
paragraph.
5 minutes. That's all it should take you to read a paragraph and be able to tell me about it. You guys are all doing the first. You guys are all doing the second. You guys are all doing the third. Okay.
Alright, yeah.
So this is the part where I walk around the room and make sure that you're doing. Oh, you gotta move this. Some people are.
No, just read it and understand it. I understand. Okay. No, it's rock. No, rock.
Richard III King.
That was hard. Rome.
You guys should be working up there on your video.
Yeah, Larry, quit playing with it.
What did you say that
Play with your price.
Okay, everybody should be reading now and not talking.
We read it. John had like
I know, how long is it?
We read it and I memorized it.
2 paragraphs. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
That was always a catch.
There's not long, Jason.
It's very easy.
Okay. Are you guys done?
Almost.
Yes. What is dudes that one? I was gonna do some foul gesture.
Watching it.
You gonna edit this? Mrs. Walsh, you're gonna watch this.
Who's gonna watch
Oh,
it?
can we watch it?
It's me.
Yeah, can we watch it tomorrow?
I don't know.
Or how about on Friday, right?
No, no, no.
I get to be finished.
Maybe.
Let's have a party.
So that's,
Yeah, let's have a Christmas
oh my God,
party.
this one, oh, we used to let us do that.
I'm thinking about it.
Let's have a surprise party.
Bring in junk, okay?
Yeah, let's go surprise her for
Come on now.
Oh, yes, you will.
Okay, are you guys ready?
Cares are dead.
Bring in the party beer ball.
We learn from.
And who cares are dead?
Okay, first Punic War.
There's gonna be no Hitler.
Okay, since you guys are first, you have to give us, everyone, you have to give us some introductory stuff. Why were the Romans and the Carthaginians fighting?
Because Rome thought Carthage was going to close that little street between Sicily and Italy.
Right?
And Carthage thought that Rome was going to attack them in Sicily.
Good, so the reason was Sicily.
Yeah.
Okay, Sicily was part of the Carthaginian Empire, as was what other country?
Spain.
Spain, okay? And eventually we'll see all of that going away. But the reason why they're fighting is over Sicily because Carthage thinks that Rome's going to take it, and Rome thinks that Carthage is going to close off the strait. So what happens then? Kelly?
They have wars.
Okay, rewards. What happens in the first war?
God.
Didn't say what happened.
Okay, well,
There's three wars,
Yeah,
and
and,
that one of them has stronger navy, the other
Rome
has
has a
stronger
stronger navy
But
than,
it says that they come up with a new naval plan and then defeat.
okay,
Carthage.
what's the Navy idea, James?
well, it just says that Rome has a stronger navy in the Mediterranean, and Rome has a better army and stuff like that.
Okay. Did Rome always have a stronger navy, or did it establish one after this war?
It established one after.
Okay. So Carthage had a stronger navy, and Rome had a stronger army, but since this is going to be a sea battle and part of it, Rome realizes that it's got to build up its army quick. Okay. So it used what technique when they were fighting on the ocean?
They went on the Carthage ships and used hand for that.
Right. They had grappling irons that they could just sail up along a Carthaginian boat and then hook themselves onto it with this iron mechanism and walk right across and go onto the boat and then kill everybody. So that was the end of that. What was the outcome? John, what was the outcome of the war? Who won?
Rome, of course.
Okay, and then what happened to Carthage? Did it have to suffer any losses? Yes?
Give them indemnity, you know, like they have to pay damage to Rome.
Okay, and then what happened with Sicily? Jessica?
It's obviously became Roman.
Okay. Okay, so now we see that Sicily now becomes part of the Roman Empire and is no longer part of Carthage. You guys, last warning. Sicily becomes part of Rome. Okay? Carthage has to pay an indemnity, which is basically damages, war damages. Okay, that's the first Punic War. Second Punic War. You guys, what happened?
I see Hamilcar Barca, I guess it was his son, Hannibal,
Uh-huh.
became governor of Spain. He hoped to destroy Rome. He took an army of 40,000 soldiers and 50 elephants through the Alps.
Okay.
He left Spain, marched through France, across the Alps, and Italy. Half his troops died and all the elephants were lost.
Okay.
And his army was still strong enough.
I mean,
They went to Spain.
it's not connected.
They went from Carthage to Spain, through France, through the Alps, then to Italy.
Right. They went up in the narrow passageway between the top of Africa and Spain. It's only a couple of miles. They then just crossed over on the boats with the elephants and then just came over, went up over through France, down through the Alps, and then into Rome. Now, why would the elephants probably not do so well in the Alps?
It's kind of big.
Kind of big, kind of cold, they kind of like it hot, you know? It's not often that you see an elephant in the winter. Okay.
It says this is a mammoth.
So then what
Holy man.
what happened during the travel through the Alps?
They died.
Not you guys.
Their army.
They died. Okay, half the army died, and all the elephants died. Okay, then they came over, they made it into Rome.
Wasn't it kind of stupid of them to take elephants?
Well, probably. But the idea was the elephants were to carry everything, so the army would not have to. They would have enough equipment to make it all the way through the journey. So it probably was really a smart idea that the elephants would win.
They thought so.
Okay, so they came to Rome, and then where was their big battle? Jen? Right, at Cannae, and that is this big star, Mark, whoever asked. Mike. This point right here is the site of a battle called Cannae, okay, where Hannibal.
Was this around the time of Ulysses?
No, that was during Greece. Okay, where Hannibal attacks the Romans, and who wins? Carthage or Hannibal. Okay, Hannibal beats them. Now, strategy question. Okay,
Because they were attacking.
Mike,
So.
why do you think after beating at Cannae they did not go on into Rome? Like here's Cannae. Look how close it is into Rome. He's like made it all this far down into the empire. All he has to do is just walk right into Rome. Why didn't he?
Because there was probably more people.
Shh, is your name Mike?
Oh, you didn't say Mike.
My middle name's Mike. That's right.
No, why didn't you answer the question, Mike?
Because they didn't have enough power, they didn't want to risk it since Rome was probably the capital, and that was probably where all the strongest forces were.
Right,
That's what I
okay,
was gonna say.
because they didn't have enough men left. They didn't have enough strength left. They didn't think if they would take Rome, they would have won anything. So common sense will tell you that, all right, all four of you, Monday, 2:40.
I have another detention Monday.
Oh, you gotta come Tuesday. Okay,
I can't come Tuesday either. And I have another detention Wednesday.
we'll have to talk about that tomorrow. All right, so Rome then was not taken by Hannibal because they didn't think he could have it. And then in the meantime, Publius Scipio attacked Carthage, and Hannibal was called back. Okay, and then what was the overall outcome of the Second Punic War? Who lost? Okay.
And then like had their army totally shot down and ships left.
So Rome won again. And then what did Carthage have to do this time?
What's that animal? They had to give him Spain. France or something like that. Yeah, Spain
Okay,
lost.
they lost Spain. Would you rather have 2 days? You?
Don't say anything at all. Just sit there smiling.
Are you asking me? Oh, okay. All right, so then now they lost Spain. And what else do they have to pay again?
That is huge.
They had to pay more damages. Okay. Mike, Hannibal is the general that led the army of Carthage up over the Alps. Okay. Now, the reason for the Second War was what? Huh? Revenge. Okay. The Carthaginians were pretty PO'd that they lost the first time around, so they wanted to try again and beat the Romans. Now, you guys, Third Punic War. Why did it start, John?
Because, well, they had peace for 50 years, and Carthage had its prosperity. It was no threat, but they didn't want it to be independent, so they attacked it.
So Rome attacked it.
Yeah, they sieged to it for 3 years. And burned it with salt in the fields, couldn't grow anything. With salt in the fields.
Okay.
So it could grow.
So Rome attacked it for no apparent reason but to finally get rid of this big thorn inside. Okay. What was the outcome? Huh? Yes, Tara.
Rome got all of the Western Mediterranean.
So the winner is Rome. So now Rome has all of Western Mediterranean. It has all of what Carthage used to have. And what would it do to make sure that Carthage would never be a pain again, Meredith?
Make sure it never what?
What did Rome do to make sure Carthage would never be a problem again?
They sold the people to slavery or killed them.
And they did what else to its, Marlene?
It's all salt and oil.
They plowed salt into their fields, okay? So they took all the people, they killed ones that they didn't want, they sold the rest into slavery. And then they poured salt into its fields so that they could never grow any crops again.
Or salt, because wouldn't that kind of make it not real good for the Romans, but now that they have that land, it's not going to do much, because they can't grow anything on it.
Right.
So it was kind of stupid.
It was kind of
They
stupid.
didn't gain on it.
The idea was to just make sure there would be no Carthage again. And later, you're right, in the Roman Empire, when they occupied that land, they would be sorry they had done that, because now they can't use this one
How long does
fertile
that still
soil.
last?
A couple generations, till it wears away. Any questions on the Punic Wars? The overall outcome is Carthage is destroyed, and the Romans now take that into their empire. So if you look on your map then, where's the map of the whole? Okay, Roman expansion map, page 91. It shows you exactly what the Romans had then at this point. Okay. End of Punic Wars, 146. They've got Spain, they've got Carthage, and now they've got all of Italy, and now we're going to see them move into Greece. Yeah. We're going to stop there, and tomorrow we're going to pick up how they get into Greece and the other parts. It's not very difficult what we're going to do tomorrow. Okay? Any questions? We'll have the quiz at the end of the period. It'll only take 15 minutes.
This is a worksheet that's new?
Yeah.
Only one page?
Oh, sections 1 and 2. Don't forget your vocabulary tomorrow and your test is quiz.
What vocab?
That big folder with like a worksheet on it. Any questions, guys?
I don't.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I don't think, was that Monday? I wasn't here Monday.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Do I still have to do it by tomorrow?
You should have asked Tuesday.
Yeah, but you said I had all my homework done.
We haven't handed this in yet. There's a lot more. Turn it over.
All right, what's up in current events?
Everything.
Last lesson
It's
twice
either
out
it's
today.
either 15th or nothing.
We went to war last night.
The last is positive so
Last week we did give 8.
history.
We invaded the Soviet Union.
We had a Russian
They
agent.
need it bad.
They did bad, real bad.
We had a Russian agent. Started out singing in Russian. Russian.
Watched the say they have
Gas went down 1 cent.
What?
Gas went down 1 cent.
It did?
Yeah, from 1 cent.
Oh, I'm going gas shopping tonight. I have like an ounce of gas in my car.
I don't know if he was running
I
on
was putt-putting to work this morning.
everything up the hill.
What's happening with Saddam? Is he coming down at all? Or?
Flipping out.
He's got a couple loads in his standing strong.
Oh, he just appointed a new defense minister.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the war
What's he
hero
look
during
like?
the Iraq War.
Saddam?
Yeah.
Your average guy.
Does he have gray hair?
Blackish.
Sort of blackish.
Fat?
There's a picture of him right there.
Where? That guy.
Yeah.
I thought that was Noriega.
Dad.
Oh, Mike.
Shut your hole. Steve's getting all those good views on tape.
So what is Saddam doing now? What's this new person going to do?
I don't know. Well, he's trying to be a war hero. He's preparing for war.
Hey. There was a new war hero, now he's gonna possibly be using his old tricks and his knowledge of his old people.
Who?
They're advantage.
If he goes out of there, or if we beat him, are we gonna get cheap oil again?
I don't know.
I don't know. Isn't that like
We're taking over Iraq.
Iraq?
We beat him or we're going to take over Iraq.
Yeah,
Probably.
then we get cheap oil, right?
Other country.
Well, yeah, but in the course of the war, we might lose a lot of oil.
Take that over. That's all right.
So,
Take it. Tell me to
I
tell
mean,
you
with
your
fighting
51st
and
state.
bombs and all of
Well,
that.
once we're over there, then we can just take that over every place around there.
Well, I don't think like that's the United States purpose is like to go for what? Like,
Yeah, well, they could if they wanted, so why don't we?
That's debatable.
Where's Chad?
See you tomorrow.
Chad's roll call is.